Hello and welcome to Breaking the Cycle. My name is Dr. Alan Hyde, and today we are joined by familiar guests who've joined us on the show before. I would like to remind you as you tune in today, Breaking the Cycle is more than a podcast that goes live once a week. We are also a therapy practice located in North Texas, and we're going to talk today with Jerry and Veda MacGregor, who run a nonprofit called the Belief Center. And we are in the talks currently of a merger and a discussion of just kind of some clinical work and some conferences and things of that nature that may be in your guys' area soon here in Texas. But Veda, Jerry, thank you for joining us again here on the show. How are you doing?
Good to be here, Alan. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exciting to be back together.
Yeah.
Wild and wonderful things happening.
Well, we met last year at a wedding of some mutual friends.
We did.
And then we came on the show a couple months later. I think it was like 2 months later, had a great conversation, and now we're meeting back up discussing just things around the practice, things around your guys' events that you're doing, and should shape up for some real community engagement. I think it should be pretty good.
Yep. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that grow. People need to get out. They need to be talking, need to be doing groups. I also need to turn off this ceiling fan because
that's
that
a great
clicking noise.
Bear
Bear with me 2 seconds.
That's a great
I'm going to
idea.
turn that ceiling fan off. I'm sure they could hear it too.
It's a good thing you're handy and tall.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Now that that's settled. So the events that you guys are running, we are falling apart here today. We have a new setup, so bear with us.
And it is a beautiful setup, by the way.
What happened here, Kendra? All right.
It
all
just slid right down.
Yeah.
I saw it.
We'll survive.
Yeah.
We'll survive. We're rolling with it. This is fun.
That's what we do.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just going to stop messing with it.
That was one of the rules. Don't touch the equipment.
Right, here I am.
Kendra has rules.
Yeah, it was fine until I had to get up and do the ceiling fan, and now I'm just messing up on my setup here.
No, it's good to be back together.
Yeah,
and I am
absolutely.
excited about where we're going. And when I say we, I mean us and thou.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times, right, practices are looking for structured connections, relationships with nonprofit organizations, and the things that you guys are doing align with just our ultimate vision and mission around helping the family disease of alcoholism heal.
Yes.
But again, for those who didn't get to touch base and hear you guys last time you were on the show, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about, and hear from both your perspectives, the groups that you're running, the people that you're working with.
Okay, you want to start?
So we have Heart Skills, and then we have something we call Hearts for Heroes. Hearts for Heroes is for first responders, people in the front lines. It's more directed toward service. And the Heart Skills is directed toward learning how to live from your heart. And, to be a genuine, loving, caring individual.
Yeah. You guys are taking that course into prisons and,
Yes, sir.
Also out in the community.
Yeah, we're a mental health resource for veterans in our community. And we go into prison, and we have an ongoing class that we teach in there to the veterans in the prison.
Yeah. It's very cool. And I remember when you guys were telling us about that last time, that's something that the viewers enjoyed hearing about. And I just think, what a service to be able to offer, to a population oftentimes that doesn't get a lot of just outside service outside of the VA. And we all know sometimes that can be tied up as well in the amount of services that they receive. And so I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing.
They're so hungry.
Thank you.
They just amaze me how much they change going through the glass.
The A to B is immeasurable. It truly is.
Yeah.
Because it's not only helping the veterans themselves, but they're on the phone and on their tablets communicating with their family members.
Right.
And now the family members on the outside are like, okay, can I get some of those skills? Can I get them anywhere? We have family members on the outside that also come and attend our hard skills classes. Because what we teach are skills, but for the frontline workers, we frame it as Hearts for Heroes, which is simply a change out a few of the music videos that are directly related to their service.
Yeah.
But all of the topics are identical. We just include wounds that occur through service work.
Yeah, and the three of us have chatted a lot off the camera, but it's like
Yes.
you guys meet people where they're at. It comes like it's not just the set structure. We morph the set structure into the conversations based on where people are at when they come in. And that's any successful group. It's
Yeah.
the groups that like, well, this is our structure, this is the way it's done, that doesn't lead to a lot of healing and growth.
No, no. You do have to meet them where they are. And polished and pretty doesn't really match the ugly that person is actually carrying around. So that can be very off-putting when you're in the ditch. To have something sparkly and shiny come up and say, "I'm here to help you." I need to know if you know the hurt that I have. And I think that's what really and truly sets us apart in the way that we approach people in our classes is we lead from the front. We lead by example. We show you our wounds, we show you our struggles, and then utilize the tool that we're teaching them in that moment, how it applies. Real deal, live, living, breathing, current examples.
Yeah.
And the whole team does it. It's not just Jerry and I.
It gives them permission.
Yeah, it's even on the clinical side of things, it's like anytime I can share my experience with somebody, right, obviously in a contained setting, but it, like you said, it gives them permission to see like, hey, even a therapist sitting across from me has a lived experience that isn't just this pristine little, nice
Happy
existence.
life guy.
Yeah, it's like, hey, no, here's the honest truth. I've been
Yes.
through some shit, and I have no problem. I have no reason to hide it from you, and nothing to hide. I'll share it with you, as long as we can utilize it.
Yes.
All right, and that's what I
Yes.
hear a lot in the groups and the work that you guys are doing. Is like, let's utilize the experience, and then learn some skills.
Yes. Because all of those experiences have value.
Yeah.
Yes. And I find tremendous value in the gravest negative experiences. But until you've dug through your own work and gotten a few layers down, you can't quite find that just yet. You have to take it layer by layer by layer. Because if you're any age at all, it can be quite damaging to pull so much off at once. You have to actually contend with each piece as you discover it. Otherwise, it's completely overwhelming. And that can cause you to backtrack instead of continue to grow, morph, and move forward.
Yeah.
So it's that balance of not being overwhelming, but getting deep as that person is able to go.
Challenge.
And if you can only get to the edge of the topic, we meet you right there. You just hang at the edge right there, and you see the others that are in theirs. That's okay. There is no right or wrong in our classroom. There's just guidelines. That's it.
Yeah, very, it's very much also akin to like 12-step programs, all right, where somebody could be on step 12 and you're coming in for the first time into a meeting, but everybody has value in being there. And just because somebody's done the steps for years and years and years doesn't make them any more valuable or worthwhile than the person who's coming in who is, one step away from feeling just completely miserable and without options. And I imagine your groups offer that same sense of ease and comfort.
Yes.
And that's what we're aiming for. I think a lot of times with any of the work we do, I liked that aspect that you guys are holding up around taking the layers off in a manner in which will allow the person to grow to the occasion.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times people hear that, they think, when they hear about therapy and the layers of the onion, and they start thinking about like, oh, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense when it comes to trauma. But the reality is for the human psyche, taking the layers off to understand and get into a place of not just accountability, but self-awareness.
That's the key.
Is not getting, you have to be able to not get overwhelmed by the information.
Gentleness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we hear people say. I feel safe in here. Like, we're just here to love you. Yeah. We present topics. You journal a little bit. You share a little bit with a couple of people. But really, it's as autonomous as it can be in a room with a group of people. But the work has to be autonomous. I've not worn your shoes, and you will never wear mine. I can have a similar experience to you, but I didn't have your experience. You can have, and vice versa. So I can say, I think I have an idea of how you might feel, but I really can't. Because it wasn't mine, it was yours. And as humans, when we meet someone and that might be struggling, as humans, we tend to want to fix. That's usually the first thing we want to do. That's purely motivated, I believe. Most of the time, that's purely motivated. People want to make things better. They want to help people feel better. However, by telling me that my pain requires fixing, you're actually telling me that my pain is not worth listening to or caring about, because you're instantly trying to fix.
Yeah.
And I'm just needing you to sit with me and hold my hand until I feel better.
Yeah.
Right? So holding people's hands while they can't figure it out is very critical. And our team is incredible at doing that in each of the little groups, because we scatter the team out among each of the little groups. So we try to get at least one person in all of them so that they have that source to lean on.
And that's both when you're doing it in the community and in the prison setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more, guys, but we're going to be November 22nd and 23rd here in Hearst, Texas. The Belief Center is going to have their weekend-long workshop here.
We are.
So stay tuned for that. We're going to get the information
more
out
details
there more
to
and more.
come.
Yeah, and we'll be letting you guys know here on the podcast every week about that coming up if you're interested. But I would highly recommend, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, that you come check it out. It's free. Food will be provided.
Absolutely.
And some really positive, helpful work will be done that weekend here at the Breaking the Cycle location. So
we're so excited. Thank you so much for providing the space.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And the partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that'll be exciting to see how that kind of grows and morphs into just kind of being able to do some in-person events with the support of a nonprofit and get us out there. And, there's a lot these days. I'm sure you guys would agree of like, there's a lot of people who want to break into the market. Right.
Yep.
And sometimes, the work gets forgotten. And so it's like, oh, well, place wants to do a cool event, but then there isn't anything clinical occurring, or there's no services being offered on the back end. And that's what our discussions are going to look like, is like, well, how do we not just do the clinical work when they're in there, but also give them an opportunity to get some resources outside of that clinical work. And then once they leave, some opportunities to come into therapy. And, this is in other settings, like with county, they call it wraparound services. These things, when we were chatting about it earlier, they'll be exciting to see how it shakes out.
Now I'm supposed to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really excited about this. All of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And having this. By the way, guys, that is the weekend before Thanksgiving.
It's a
so
good
make
time.
sure and mark your calendar now. It's just a Saturday and Sunday.
And it's a good time because everybody loses their shit.
Yeah, they do.
The
They have to be
holidays.
around their families.
Yeah.
That could be very detrimental.
It's a prime time even in my private practice where we do a lot of prep work around like, well, how are you going to detach from the conversations and the situations with people that you love and want to be around, but that you may not be able to be around for more than a couple hours, so you start prepping. It's like, if you're going to travel somewhere, make sure that you have your own car.
Yes.
Make sure
Make sure you have your own space to sleep in. If you're staying overnight, don't stay at their house.
Yeah, that's a common one too, where I'm always surprised how blown away people are when that one works, where it's like, just for years I stay at my parents' house. It's like, well, you're not a kid anymore. And it's like, there's nothing wrong
It's a sewing room now, really. You don't need to stay there.
It's like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to stay with your parents, but I think there really is something to be said for the peace of mind of like you being an adult and living your own life and not having to adhere to the structure and rules of your parents. It's going to grate you anyway by the time it's all said and done.
Oh, those holidays. I'm glad I was blessed with kind and loving people and we didn't have that issue. But, I know so many people that do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I just have to look in the mirror.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so, coming to something like that for a weekend before Thanksgiving could be really helpful, I think, for a lot of people who struggle with difficult family dynamics or just the emotional distress that would bring someone in for a group like that,
Definitely.
to prep for the holiday.
Yep. It
Because we're,
would.
we're headed into some hard times of the year. As beautiful as it is this time of year with the holidays, it's a really hard time of year for a lot of people. So to have some more resources like this floating around will be really good.
It's exciting. And I thought it was kind of ironic that I already had it on the calendar before we talked.
Yeah.
And when I wrote it on the calendar, I didn't know why I wrote it on the calendar.
Well, it's good you did. I mean, it's a
I thought
weekend
so.
that works.
It
And
kept it open.
yeah, there you go.
Yes. And then I come in here and meet with you, and it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm like, well, looky there. In fact, Jerry pointed it out. Oh, look, it's already on your calendar. I was like, look at that.
Yeah. That
Yes,
works out.
yes. So I appreciate divine appointments, and that's definitely what this is.
Yeah. Well, we had chatted at the beginning of the year when you guys came on, and that was before I even had the office here.
Yeah. Oh, which is
just-
fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
I love this space.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
enjoying
I'm
it.
proud for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We've been
You've
enjoying it.
done a
here. It's-
lot in a short amount of time, sir. I know to you it may seem slow, but it really isn't, not looking from the outside.
Yeah. I have to remind myself sometimes that it's like, hey,
back.
yeah, take some stock here.
Yes.
Take the proper inventory, not the way that you want it to be, but look what's happening.
It's really a big deal.
Yeah. Which I think is a good segue into kind of getting some information from your experience, Jerry, of like working in the prisons, right? Talk about people who have to stay in the moment, all right? But you guys go in there consistently. We talked about it a little bit the last time you were on the show. But when you guys are going in there, you're bringing hope, all right? And we were talking about it a little bit before of just kind of, getting them in these groups and what that kind of looks like. But let's hear from you a little bit, Jared. Just kind of what does that program look like when you're bringing it in the prisons, when you're bringing your guys' curriculum in there and the growth that's occurring?
So the environment, different prisons vary. We're very fortunate at the Cofield unit, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. We have a veterans dorm, and those guys they live together. They stay in a dorm. They're separated from the main prison, and so it's a lot calmer there than like if I was in the main.
Yeah.
We've taught classes in the main before, and they're very chaotic. It's hard to keep their attention. They're busy because they don't see each other when they get in a room together. They got to like pass notes and all that kind of stuff. So they get real distracted about not staying on topic. Now it still works. It's just a little harder to keep them reined in.
Yeah.
But when we get that focused room like we have, they're just hungry, and they're bonding. They're building connections. We find that we remove all lines. They get blurred, ethnicity, cliques, however you want to see it. In prison, that stuff is huge.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in a general population class we did a while back, started off with, we graduated 48 in that class. And when we started, they were all like, the black guys are over here, the Mexican guys are over here. They're all just grouped up. And by the time we were done, they were all just mixed together. They were all just one big happy group.
Yeah.
And so to see them connect to each other and form brotherhoods like they would in combat. And these guys, a lot of them have been in combat, so they kind of know how that works, and that helps them structure their dorm life in a military way.
Yeah.
But I just love seeing them change, seeing the darkness come off them.
Sure.
It's a great payday.
I bet.
Oh,
yeah.
man. It
I mean,
really is.
That's a lot of what I'm sure most people would say we need in our culture, our society these days is just more brotherhood, more connection, more shared belief and hope. You know, belief is a tricky thing, right?
It is.
And right now, for some reason, there seems to be a lot of conjecture around believing that things aren't good. But man, there's just a lot of hope out there. It's a lot of
lot.
good people, and I wish more of that was seen. But I guess the best we can do in here today is talk about
Just
that
talk
and
about it,
highlight
yeah.
it, that that's true, that there are a
is.
lot of good things happening as much as there are bad things happening.
Yes.
And as long as you focus in your community, that's where
Mm-hmm.
the best things happen.
That's where the rubber meets the road,
Yeah.
in the community. Yeah.
I was having to remind a client the other day. It's like, well, what's one of the most famous literary lines of all time? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
There you go.
So that's always going to be true, man.
Yeah.
Life is always going to be shitty and great. It's
Yep.
just that's
That's the way it is. You can't have one without the
You're
other.
going to see what you want to see.
There's something about watching and hearing and experiencing a man that fought in a war, Vietnam in particular, horrific war, and watch him stand up in a room full of comrades, shaking and crying, and having those comrades encourage without taking a step, just encouraging that man to speak the words that he spoke about what he experienced. And we don't repeat it because there's no reason to harm other people's psyches in telling those stories. But it was horrific. And he had not spoken that until that day in our class. From the time that that event occurred until that moment in that class, he had never uttered a word about that event to another human being.
Yeah.
So to watch someone that has housed that kind of event for most of their life, it's sickening that we are so blind and so selfish that people can truly walk around in our worlds and us be right next to them and have no idea what they're housing.
Yeah.
Whew, that's a good payday. That's a good payday. Because everyone in that room changed. I will never be the same. I will never be the same for the courage that I witnessed that day.
Yeah. It
So-
is a privilege to,
It
to
truly
be able to
is.
sit in some of the positions as you watch people face
Yes.
really difficult things in their life, beyond words.
Yes. Because as a therapist, you're literally invited into people's pain. That is such a humbling, honorable spot because they're inviting you into their vulnerability. And there is nothing more precious, in my opinion, than someone's willingness to be vulnerable
Yeah.
instead of walls.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
my gratitude is and always has been that it's a small number for me at a time.
Yeah.
That I do it. You know, the more people you do that with and for, it's definitely
They start stacking up, don't they?
yeah. You need a
It's
team.
nice.
You need a village.
Yes.
And I've always been grateful for building connections with the right people to get more messages in the community out there around these things. Because a point that you had made, which also kind of facilitates and runs right back into why prisons operate the way that they do, the situations that get super cliquey and gangs and things like that is because people are walking around not sharing what they're housing, and now there's all this angst and resentment and anger towards others, right?
Yes. Because I can feel better about me if I can be angry at you.
Yeah.
I feel
and-
better about
Takes
me.
my focus and takes my rage and gives
Yeah.
me something to do and occupy myself.
Right. It's like that's in you know, it reminds me of the biggest crux with like alcoholism, right? It's like the alcoholic is only just, they're distracting themselves from themselves.
Yes.
And you were touching on it too, is like, it is a very self-centered society. And we know that too. It's like anybody even listening, it's like drive down any freeway, you're going to see the billboards for alcohol on every fucking billboard.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's like, it's a very self-centered, very distracted society.
Yes.
That doesn't make anybody bad or even wrong, right?
No.
It just, what it means is that you can't afford, as you grow and heal in your life, to remain distracted. You cannot afford to do it. You will lose out
Yep.
on many, if not all, of the things that actually matter. and you'll watch it dissolve in front of your face if you're not careful.
And then you're at the end of it and you're like, what in the hell did I do?
Yeah, this is
Why didn't I?
right. These are the deathbed confessions, right?
They
The
are.
dad who is never there for his kids, hoping that their kids will show up and love them, saying how much he loves them. It's like, okay, well, but where were you?
Yeah.
You know, the words are great. It's, I guess, a consolation prize, but where were you? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so we learn in these circles and with the groups that you're doing to share these things so that you can have those conversations when it matters, which is every day, day in and day
does,
out. You got to remind people that you love them. You got to share why. You got to show with actions. If you're not doing those things, get around people who are.
Because attitudes are contagious.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like
And I want to hang with people that I want to catch their attitudes.
yeah, I want to learn from people
Me
who are
too.
doing good, compassionate things. But more than that, you know, this was something when I was a young man too, figuring out my life. So I want to learn from somebody who can be good, a good person, and a good person isn't always a nice person.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
They stand up for what they believe in and they know what they're standing up for. And those are the people I wanted to be around. I wanted to learn from them. You know, veterans especially are that way.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of what you guys see too, like when you're working with veterans, is like turning some of those dials even down or back a little bit as they transition into general pop.
Yep.
Right, where it's like, okay, you know, the sensitivities were turned way up, right? It can be an asset if we turn it down just a little bit, right? But keep the skills.
Yes.
I imagine that's a lot of the work that you guys are doing, even with the structure you've set up in your curriculums.
Yeah.
It's like turning the volume down.
Yes. And they amaze us. Like this class that just graduated, they led this class. They took our curriculum and they led this class. We were not there doing anything except observing, and that didn't last but about half the class. The rest of it they built. About half, yeah. And that just, it was incredible to see the work that they had done. We were just in awe, and the way that that's measured is by the testimonials of the men that they're teaching.
Right.
Teaching men to fish, teaching people to deal with their own mental health is very doable. We can all learn how to self-regulate, to work with forgiveness, intention, all the things that you learn through therapy. We can all learn together. It's a lifestyle. It's not just housing all those pains and all those events and then being a reactive person for the rest of our lives. We need to know ourselves outside of the lies that we believe.
Yeah. Well, you know, and it's
sorry.
most people, you know, because the key word there is belief. Most people never get to the bedrock of belief.
No.
Belief is a very, very complicated concept. You know, most people don't run around with a deep spiritual sense of belief. And I
has to
don't
be
mean belief in
grown.
spirituality. It's
Right.
like the human experience of belief is so malleable that a very popular cognitive and behavioral technique is change your mind.
Yes.
All right. It's like, so then the conversation is like, well, we can, I guess maybe as humans move a little bit closer towards belief in the sense where it's like, are you willing to die for it? That's probably the closest form of true belief that a human being has. Are you willing to die for it or not?
Yep.
And truly mean that. From there, most is malleable. Most is up for discussion. And if you remain regulated, you can have those discussions. Society, obviously, in today's day and age, not very regulated because the conversations at a societal level aren't happening, right? It's just
Not
a
at all.
fight. It's not
Yes.
regulated.
Us against them.
Yeah. And so as I'm hearing you guys, it's like, yeah.
See, humanity's disconnected. And literally our class is a connect series. So as the world is disconnecting, we're coming in with the glue and the tape and helping them learn how to connect. Because without human connection, we cannot thrive.
Yeah.
We're not thriving.
Yeah. It just breeds loneliness and
It does.
disconnection.
Yeah, we're all just reacting at each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's like with the populations you work with, well, let's say like the military. Well, you're taught to react to situations, right? You come out and that doesn't work so
You got to
well.
act. You can think about it later.
Yeah. And that's first responders. And it's not so different either from like sports. You know, you're taught to react. You're taught to react. You're taught to react. Then on top of that, you're taught to be tough and to pull yourself up and do this on your own and figure it out and learn the skill, but the skill doesn't translate right into anything
Exactly.
else.
And the way you win is by running over that guy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's absolutely in military first responder sports.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, you run over the
Yes, you
competition.
do.
And then the competition in your interpersonal life becomes your partner.
Yes,
Okay.
it
Well,
does.
you can't run over your partner because if they lose, you lose.
Yep.
All right. And if you don't regulate that, then you're just running around throwing a tantrum.
Do you find that, let's just piss everybody off right off the bat. Do you find that our frontline workers and since I am a former frontline worker, I think we're pretty much all batshit crazy. That's what I think. Because we run into trouble, we don't run away from trouble. That's kind of backwards for the psyche, right? So I think to even be a frontline worker, you have to be a little bit off, a little half bubble off dead center. What are your thoughts, Doctor? I want to know what you think.
Yeah, I think it. You always hear the line of like it takes a special person, and I think that's true in the sense of like a willingness to lay yourself down for other people. But you know, when I think of my teammates who became first responders, I love you guys to death. They were a bit odd.
Yes.
You know. I'd like to think I'm qualified to make that assessment at this point in my life.
I think you are.
Yeah.
You're a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I think you can make that.
Like I had this one buddy, love him to death, but he was one of our like ace pitchers my junior year in college. He went on, he became a cop, and when we'd all get back together for the alumni stuff, he's the guy that you want showing up, right, to the 911 call.
You bet.
But he's not the first guy in my personal life I'm going to call for really anything else because he's kind of chaotic.
Yes.
You know? And that's the disconnect is like, I could take a guy like that on a baseball field or as a cop, and he's going to do things to a T. You get him in a interpersonal setting, and it's like, bro, calm
Really?
down.
Yes.
You know, that's a very
Your life
common-
is not at stake here.
Yeah, and it's like not everything needs to be turned up to 11.
No.
And actually, didn't you know that that's kind of unlikable? And nobody wants to be around
around that,
chaotic
no.
situations. And it sucks because I love you. And in these other settings, I can really, really count on you. And, you know, it's like I became so accustomed to that guy in the baseball world as like a younger pitcher. I was like, I could really count on you. You're out there shoving it every day. But then as we grew into adulthood, it's like I can't pick up the phone and call
hang with you.
Yeah, I can't believe somebody married you and procreated with you. You're a
Well, let me know
wild.
if you want to play baseball.
Yeah. Let me know if you want to pitch on the men's league. Yeah, but truly, you know, and I probably still would call him. Let me know if you want to play on the men's league. But you know, I remember one time we got together for an alumni engagement, and even our coach was like, "What's wrong with him?" And it's like the reality of the conversation is like not much is quote unquote wrong with him. It's just everything is turned up to 11. Everything is intense.
Yes.
And this is a huge part, even like in the dating culture in the world, in the modern world with dating apps and things like that. Everybody's intense. Gone are the days of taking your time. Right.
Oh, that's a bummer because that's the best part.
Right. Well, that's
I'm
just how
old, y'all. That's the best part.
that's how you find companionship. It's how you find
Yes.
friendship. It's how you find business
It's
partners.
how you learn you're not with a narcissist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like this is how you do business. It's like if everything's intense, then it's bing, bang, boom, done, and nothing
And
else
now
is
you're
going to
left
happen
with
from there.
voids. There's nothing else there to fill it.
Yeah. That's what I see. Well, because there is a crossover. There's a lot of intensity in first responders, even in the way that they date, that research is showing, right? That it's
I
a
bet.
lot of one night stands, a lot of failed relationships, a lot of sex addiction,
Yes.
right? And then you dip out of first responders. This is true for veterans. And
Yes,
you
it
dip out of
is.
veterans, and this is true for anyone who's experienced trauma and adverse childhood experiences. I've said this a few times, and I'll go on record here on the podcast, but we are headed in the next 10 years that we will see an explosion of sex addiction and a need to treat it in American culture and society. And it's not just because of things like the internet and OnlyFans, right? It's because
Oh,
there's
no, that's been going on a long time.
yeah, I mean, there's always been pornography, right? What it really is a more and more disconnected society with human drives,
Yes.
right? And so people are turning to really, really desperate, isolated places, and that's always going
And
to
that's
lead to some
porn.
form of addiction.
Absolutely.
And I just
And it's
yeah.
dark. It is a world.
Well, you know, here's
really
here's the
dark.
part that most people don't think about. It's like blowing your mind here, Jerry.
Yeah.
You know what most people don't think about on that side of it, with like things like untreated sex addiction, because it's a conversation that most of society doesn't want to have anyway, because it's like what I do behind my closed doors is my business, and that's true. I don't want to know the details, but we need to know the emotional
The dysfunction
details.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing that people don't think when they turn on the computer to just have some alone time with some graphic images is that the people on the other side of that are 500 times more likely to take their own life. 500 times. They're something like close to like a guarantee that they're abusing some form of substance.
Oh,
and
of
they're
course.
doing it on
Otherwise they
set
couldn't do that
before.
job.
Yeah.
Their self-worth is in the tank.
The dissociation in order to engage in what we would traditionally call exhibition and voyeurism, which is what it is,
Yep.
leads to extreme behaviors, and most of these people don't make it.
No.
Now, you know, it's cute because they go on podcasts now and they talk about their lived experiences. It's like, look, sweetheart, I pray that everything will be okay for you. But the choices that were made prior to engage in that don't go away. They're not going to go away,
Nope.
and it's going to live on the internet now forever.
Yep.
And this is for the young men and women out there who are engaged in this stuff and relate to it. You better stop. I would just stop right now. Don't watch it. Don't engage with it. I speak from personal experience. I'm not sitting on some high horse. I had unmanageable problems with this too. Stop. It's not good for you. It leads to consequences. It certainly doesn't let us have interpersonal relationships
No.
in any functional kind of way.
And sex addiction was my addiction until I was 40. And that's what, 24 years ago? 24, I'm not doing math. 24 years ago. But it's real. And
Yeah.
my exposure was at 5 with pornography.
Well, and this is a big point too, as to like why we're seeing kind of a surge around this stuff, is that there's a real, I would say, around kind of the boomer generation with their kids, there was a real lack of boundaries in the name of them telling like this is the proper way to live,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But then lacking all boundaries.
Yep.
All right. And it's not just that generation.
That's
They're-
my generation. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just the boomer generation, but they're a good example, I think, on a large scale.
Oh, definitely.
Of like what has transpired, where kids were just kind of getting access to this kind of stuff, and then it's causing problems. And now we're leaning more towards, you can see it in the millennial parents. They say it's the gentle parenting, but really it's hovering.
Exactly
Right?
what it
They're
is.
lawnmower parents. They'll knock over any type of obstacle, or they'll hover over to do the child's homework for them. It's like the balance
Let's just
is
cripple them, shall we?
yeah, the balance is boundaries, love and
crazy,
compassion,
yes.
right? Like the groups that you guys are running, it's like,
Yes,
let's hear each
exactly.
other. Let's understand that this is a safe environment to be a little bit wild sometimes, but to draw and reel it in,
Yes.
right? When it matters.
Yes.
And yeah, I kind of went on a tangent there, but
Yeah, but we have to talk about this stuff, though. We have to, because it stays in the dark, so it just continues to seep and stink and get worse and become something that it doesn't have to be. We don't have to hide in shame. We have to stop hiding. We have to stop believing the lie that we tell ourselves that we're the only one. We are not the only one.
yeah.
It is so prominent and prevalent out there in humanity. Sex addiction is horrific. And now our babies. I was 5 when I was exposed. I didn't even know, we didn't even use the word grooming back then, right? Because that was 1966. We didn't know what grooming was. Well, when someone takes a cherry magazine and drapes it across 2 hula hoops and hides it behind what do you call that? A man's rolling toolbox. So when you pull it out, it just falls onto the floor. That's grooming. well, we didn't know any of that. And I had no idea what happened to me. I had no idea how to explain what happened to my body when I looked at those photos. I had no clue. Neither did my little friend.
Yeah.
We were just shocked.
Yeah.
And I know we're not the only ones. And it has been, as long as I've been alive, it has been acceptable in society to have porn at your house. That it's acceptable for men to pass down and get their sons laid before they're married or whatever, so that they know what they're doing. You know, there's just been this shift
Yeah.
in how it used to be done to how it needs to be done. Because we've always done it wrong.
Yeah, well,
Because
even
sex has
even
always
the-
been hidden behind clothing and lies and pretendy things and all that. And it's always been happening. We just go, no, not really.
Yeah,
Yes, really.
it's one of the funniest
That
parts.
prude stuff drives me crazy.
Yeah,
What
oh,
is
for sure.
that?
Yeah, well, it's
Growing
never
up
gonna
and not even
drive-
knowing what sex is and not even being talked to about it. I don't.
Well, it's never
Anyway,
going to lead to
doesn't
a
make any
healthy
sense to me.
conversation with the proper age groups that need to have it.
Yes.
What I was thinking about, it's like when you were talking about that, is like even the female M&M takes her clothes off. you know,
Hello?
in
That's funny.
advertisements. It is
Yes,
funny. It's
it is.
wild. Our society just embraces the distractions
They do.
and then wants to clutch their pearls if that conversation comes to their doorstep.
I love the way you say clutch.
Yeah, it's
But
like
that is
oh my
literally
God,
what
yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
just like, no.
It's like,
quit
no,
it.
no, don't cuss, right? Or the social media stuff. It's like, you better censor the way that you talk about things or we'll strike your videos. It's like, really? These platforms?
Okay,
Where-
right?
Yeah, where the things that we subject children to on these platforms, but you're going to strike a video because a therapist used the F word.
Ha ha ha.
You know, it's funny
Yeah.
the way
It
the
is
world
nice where
works.
they draw the lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they look in the mirror and are just fine. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be just fine.
Right. You know what's another craze or phenomenon with the distracted populations that we work with, and this one I think is going to blow up too. Japan was our real example of it, but because they had the AI models before we did.
Yes.
I wish I could remember the term of the Japanese men who wouldn't even go outside for 3-4 months at a time because they were in relationships with their AI girlfriends. All
For
their
real?
robot girlfriends. Oh yeah, this is a real
No,
thing.
I did not know that.
Dang.
Yeah, and that's becoming a thing
Wow.
in America. We knew it was coming. We've known for a while in some of the clinical realms of like just kind of observing articles coming out
Yeah.
of Japan about these young, about like 21 to 35-year-old men who like they aren't leaving their apartments for like a year.
Yeah.
You know, they're having all their food delivered and they're in these AI relationships with the computer. You know, and now we're hearing about these cases with men here in America. And it's not just men, women do it too. There's some tragic cases of the kids who are like losing their lives because AI tells them to. You know, stuff like this
Yes.
getting real wild.
That is wonky.
And to just tie it in for a moment, the remedy is getting out, getting into groups, being a part of community, talking to people, having shared experiences.
Yes.
If you don't do it, you're going to turn to a robot because it seems like the only one who listens,
Yes.
and it's not a real thing.
No.
You know,
No.
and neither is neither are the videos of the real quote unquote people, right? That you're watching have
Yes.
sex, right?
Not
it's
even
like
close.
yeah, it's
And
not real.
none of that teaches you about relationships.
Zero. It makes them harder.
Yes.
Well, by a country mile,
It
right?
does. Do you know, I have had friends that would, and they would tell me this, and I would just be blown away because I can't even fathom it, that they lay in their bed and their husbands are on their phones watching porn, masturbating right next to them. And I'm just like, I don't understand how that is part of a relationship.
It's not.
No, of course not. But anyway, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't understand, Doc. I really am glad that does not compute to me.
Yeah. Well, you got to think too in any kind of relationship, or maybe for
Is
the
it
people
just me,
that
or
are
is
listening.
that the most insulting thing you can do to another
Well, it's
person? Is
number
lay next to
one-
them, watch someone else, and
Yeah.
get off on it. I mean, really?
Well, number one, it's disrespectful.
Yes.
No matter, it's like no matter what anyone wants to say about it. And we had a guest on a couple weeks ago who I'd be curious to hear her perspectives on some of this, because one of her perspectives was don't yuck someone's yum. It's like I'm willing to. You like that? I
That is
cracked
kinda
up too. She's really cool. She comes from the polyamorous
Yes,
side
yes,
of
yes,
things,
yes.
and I can
Familiar.
respect the different ways people want to explore
Absolutely.
relationships.
No judgment.
In this concept, right? let's say it's a monogamous relationship, the disrespect at the level of communication when you're at that point, that instead of connecting with your partner and in some of those ways, you're distracted and disconnected right in front of her. It's not even about the sexual act of watching porn. It's that you're telling that partner that you would rather check out than share any of that with them.
Correct.
Which means at a base that you're probably not even willing to make a grocery list with her. You're not willing to plan the kids' events or whatever it is. It's the shared communication and the experiences of life that lead somebody to sit right next to their partner and do that. And that's a very progressed sex addiction if they're right there in the bed.
That's a level of arrogance. Wow.
You know, it's like the big book says, right, about alcoholism. Yeah. It's like self-centered, 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 entitled, self-centered asshole, right?
There you go.
You know what I mean?
You
it's
got
like
all that.
The world owes me.
Yeah, bingo, right. Yeah, the world owes me something. It's like there are some alcoholics in my life, and I pray for them, but I often joke. My best friends from high school had come into town, and I was telling them about a certain alcoholic in my life these days, and I was like, well, didn't you? I don't know if you guys knew about this person, but they're the most important person in the world. Yeah, and it's funny because they don't know who this person is. It's a joke, right? But it's like, if you've ever dealt with somebody in an addiction, that's what it is. I can speak from personal experience. Before I started to take care of myself and move my life closer with intention to God every day, as best as I could, I was a self-centered, self-righteous, full of self-pity asshole. Yeah. Isn't that funny, right? The one up, one down. I'm the greatest thing ever and the biggest piece of shit you'll ever meet. You know?
I know it well.
Yeah. And it's like, until we get off of that vicious cycle, that loop, we can't live a life worth meaning that connects us with people who do love us.
Exactly. Because self-condemnation does not go with love.
Pity parties make us pitiful.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And didn't you know it? Nobody wants to be around it. Nobody likes
Nobody likes pity.
Yeah.
No.
This is a whole conversation with relationships too. I'm going on tangents today.
I love it.
I like this new setup. I think it frees me up to just
really
chat.
does relax things. Yes, feels like we're in your living room.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's chill.
I like these wall baffles really a lot.
Yeah.
If you have one missing, it's because I took it with me.
You can have one. We can take them from the back if you really want.
I love them. I've always wanted to have a wall with those on there.
Yeah,
and one day I will.
Cool. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain to put them up, but once they're up, it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to
I'll call
adhesive each one of them. I bet you there's a more efficient way to do it. I did not do it the more efficient
You did not do
way.
the efficient installation? Okay, so I'm sorry,
Get
what
that
were you
spray
going to
foam.
say?
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe that's when they start falling, Kendra. That's what we should do. Shoot, that's a good idea, Jerry. Yeah, no, it's like a relationship that's progressed to the point where someone's willing to check out to that degree. You would hear it, and I bet people that hear it too, listening along, they would think how shocking that is. Except for the fact that, like, when we were talking about like love in a relationship and kind of just touching on that a moment ago, love requires knowing somebody. Yes. Knowing someone requires intimacy. Intimacy is not sex. And this is where a lot of relationships, I have to like educate young people in dating on this too. It was shared with me early on in my clinical career too, is that the conversation about sex shouldn't even be on the table in a relationship or talked about in any kind of depth for at least 6 months. You need to get to know this person. Yeah. Easy, right? Yeah. It's like, it could very well easily be longer than that. It's like, how are you getting to know who this person actually is? And in society today, that's put on the back burner, the getting to know.
Mm-hmm. We need the gratification first.
Give me the gratification. Let's do the most fun thing now. And then it's like, well, that wasn't the most fun thing because now you two can't stand each other because you're so full of shame that you don't want to look that person in the eyes ever again. It's a problem.
It is.
And it's like, when you guys were talking about the courage of that man getting up and sharing for the first time that experience.
40 years.
That's intimacy.
Yes.
That's intimate. Me. See, here's my experience, and let me share it with you, even though I don't know if I'm going to get through being able to share this.
Right.
That's intimacy.
Yes.
If that's the level that you're at with an experience that you've had, that's the only way you're actually going to find true connection.
Mm-hmm.
We lose sight of that in our society often. That you don't need to go out and be unregulated and unboundaried and just like when the grocery store clerk asks you how your day was, tell them actually how shitty all of it was. That's not what we're talking about.
No,
right?
Please don't.
Yeah, we're talking about with trusted people, right? That you want to deepen relationships with, getting honest,
Yes.
right? Being humble, extending trust, you know, finding hope and faith in the relationship.
Yes.
I mean, imagine hearing that and then going your whole life and never experiencing that.
Oh,
God, that would suck.
that would.
That's one of the
That's a
reasons
nightmare.
I like working with people is like, it's one of the things I'm most drawn to is like, can we get you to that experience so that you know what that feels like in this lifetime?
Yes.
Because if you don't, you're missing out. You're missing out.
And unconditional love is the most beautiful thing on the planet, and it's not difficult.
No,
To
it's
me,
not.
love is so easy.
Well, it's become such a cliche topic, right? It's like man to man, Jerry, right? It's like a lot of dudes hear a concept of unconditional love and like, ugh, gross, gay.
Yeah. Right.
You know? It's like, get out of here, dude. Yeah.
Give me a drink.
Right.
There
Yeah.
you
You
go.
know. Yeah.
Where's the whiskey?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But unless you land in an environment that shows you what that looks like, how are you going to learn it?
Right. Well, I certainly never did until I got into the environments of like, well, what do you mean you'll pick up the phone when I call and be of service if I need it? You know, that was, these were new things to me.
Yeah.
You know, that was unconditional. That you're not asking for anything in return.
Nothing.
And the only time that there may actually be a request for anything in return is a very simple request for me just to be of service to you. Shit, man, sign me up. I'll do it my whole life.
See?
I will do that my whole life.
And that's where I landed with two people just like that.
Yeah.
And I felt set up. When I got out of my home of origin, I felt set up for failure. They didn't teach me how to handle conflict. I didn't know how to handle conflict. I never saw it. My parents just talked.
Yeah.
And when they went in their room, you didn't hear any noises. There wasn't any, nobody yelled. Nobody said ugly, mean things to you. I mean, I didn't even know that was out there.
Yeah.
So when I got out there, I was like, wait a minute. There's scary people out here.
Yeah.
Where did these people come from? Because I was in 3 generations of that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I thought husband number 1 was going to be like my dad. Ooh, and I thought husband number 2. And I thought, and then here's number 4.
I'm
35 years,
I'm still not
though.
a dad.
No,
Yeah.
never, nor do I don't want my dad. My dad was a great dad. But I want, yes, my husband is fabulous for me. So.
I think there's something to be said too for like there's the way in which aggression, right, and passive aggression in the family system can lead to a lot of conflicts, but also just the passive nature, right? And I don't mean to speak on your family, but just kind of hearing
not
the
at all, no.
concept. It's like we were touching on earlier, you have to know what you stand for,
Yes.
and you got to stand when you're called to stand.
Yes.
And if you don't, life will pass you by.
Yes.
And all kinds of things will feel like it's happening to you. And then our challenge, right, the invitation is to know that the life is happening around you and a lot of things are actually happening for you. And maybe the shitty things that you think are happening to you, actually we're trying to wake you up to get
Yes.
you back into the flow.
Because it really is the flow. All about the flow.
Well, life moves towards healing. And this was something my therapist cued me into years ago. It's like life moves towards healing even when you cut your arm and it heals up. You know, it's like everything moves towards a cycle of health and wellness. It's only when you fight it does it hurt the most.
True.
You got to let it unfold
Brilliance.
and pay attention. True brilliance. I never knew how to look at any of that until she started to hold up those concepts in real tangible ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw
That's
you
good
perk
stuff.
up. Yeah, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love my therapist, Sharon Dixon in Southern California. She's wonderful. Yeah.
Nice.
You perked up a minute ago. Were you going to share something on this stuff, Jerry?
I don't know.
Okay.
Short-term memory.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your kind of background and work with TBI. So if you guys are watching and wondering why is Jerry wearing sunglasses indoors?
Besides
it's
the
'cause
fact
of
he's super cool.
Yeah, he is a very cool dude, but it's the lights with the TBI.
So when I was young, I had a lot of head traumas. I came up in a very abusive environment. So that was some seed for my life. So my life's been kind of reckless. In my early years, I had death wish behavior, did a lot of foolhardy things and got injured. And so then I calmed down, got a career, got a family, and living my life. But one day I came home and I bumped my head on a cabinet. And then I went to work the next day and I felt fine, but I had a little bit of a headache. It took 2 days actually to manifest for me to know I had a concussion. And so I went to the hospital. They said, yeah, you got a concussion. Just take the rest of the week off. And while I was there, I contracted shingles. So then I went back a few days later and they told me I had meningitis. And I was in really bad shape. And they gave me the
Antiviral medication.
antiviral medications. They had me in an infectious ward. And
Very scary time.
Yeah.
that tore my body down a lot. It messed with my brain and my spine. So I get weird, quirky things that are odd with me sometimes. But the fundamentals are I'm very sensitive to light, strobing especially, and sounds and movement. So I try to. I live on a swivel now more than usual.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I'm sure that's relatable too with some of the populations in the prison and with veterans that you're working with. TBIs are very, very common, especially amongst men. I'm sure when you share those
it's almost an
experiences,
expected part of growing up, or at least it used to be.
Yeah, I think some measures have been taken, but I think, watching two boys grow up too these days, I think it's still very much a part of like, you cracked your head, fine.
Boys will be boys.
Walk it off.
Yeah. So try to remain careful and aware of those things because it's not normal to smack your head. It's
And
not-
there
not
are
safe.
days that even like some physical activity, let's say 30 minutes of weed eating, he'll be in bed 2 or 3 days after that because of the way it affects his brain,
Yeah.
the physical part. And that was kind of new. We had to kind of discover that.
And mental fatigue.
Yes.
Sure.
I get fatigued either way. It's like my brain has a hard time managing the interface to my body sometimes. I kind of walk.
Or swallowing, or just
Yeah.
a few little things here and there. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the brain's an important
teaches-
organ.
He teaches and he leads from the front.
I had to. So my value system growing up, I was worthless. I mean, that's just the way I felt. And then as I got older, I found value in things that I could do. I played the trumpet. I became real good at as a young child. I was a prodigy musician, and I got a little older and I started swimming competitively. And those are things that are very self.
Individual.
Yeah. I couldn't handle team sports. The abuse that I suffered at the hands of people in sporting events growing up, my siblings. I just had no trust to be around people and engage in those ways. So swimming worked good for me because I'm in my mind swimming in the water. It's only me, even if there's a lot of people yelling, I don't even hear them. And then I dropped out of high school. I didn't ever study when I was a kid, but I'm smart. I got a lot of aptitude. And I ended up getting an engineering degree. And by the time I was done, I was just so self-focused on that. That became my new avenue. So I find that I have tunnel vision. Whatever's important to me is the only thing. And now with this brain injury, I can't even have like the radio on with a conversation. It's one or the other. So when I go sit in a room with a lot of ambient noise, it's really hard. I'm having to find my value outside of what I do now, because when I lost my brain, I lost my ability to be a high level engineer doing that tedious detail work.
Robotics, AI stuff.
Yeah.
And so now I'm 100% disabled for 12, 13 years now. And I'm learning about my heart, and I'm learning about my spirit, and I'm trying to help others grow too.
Yeah. I'd say you're definitely doing that, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. The work you guys are doing is great. I feel blessed to have met you guys and to have an opportunity for us to be working on some missions that align with what you guys are doing. And there's a lot of strength to be found in what you guys are going out there and doing. You know, I believe in the service message that I hear and what you guys are sharing, and just kind of, you know, even in that, finding your awareness, your spirituality, moving closer to this. And I hear it when we sit down and talk, and it's like everything that comes in, we give back.
Yes.
You know, it's like you guys know as well as I do, when we do those things, we're taken care of, and things work out. And that's that deepening of that spiritual awareness too, that it's infectious to be around. It's nice to be around.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we can sit in here and laugh and joke about
Yeah. The hard stuff.
the darkest sides of society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, there is humor in it. Because
is.
we've been battered and bruised as well, so we can get up and laugh a little bit. But
Got to.
yeah, you know, and I hope that's the message of hope every time we come in here, week in,
Me
week
too.
out. That the message of hope is that there's some real dark things out there. We're going to talk about them. We're going to face them head on, because we'll stand up when we're asked to stand.
Yep.
That's what we're called to do.
We do hard things.
Yeah, and
I will walk into anyone's fire, but I will not walk into their pit. I
Yeah.
will walk into the fire, not their pit.
Yeah. I like that. I like the way you put that. Yeah. You have to pull yourself up and
That's
out.
right. Because
if-
I'm not going to insult you by rescuing you.
Yeah. Well, you'll just go back.
Well,
if
of
I do
course,
it
it does
for
no
you,
good.
yeah, you're going to get back in your nice
And I'm
little
not
comfy
wasting my time.
cesspool. Yeah.
Because I'm here for a purpose.
I'm going to think I can't do it without you.
Yeah. Yeah. God bless.
Yeah, I lost my cape a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I burned that bitch. I truly did.
You won't
Because it
find
does
any
turn
capes
out. It does turn out that rescuing people is a disservice.
It is.
Unless they're on fire, you know, then you absolutely should run in and rescue them. But unless they are on fire, there is absolutely no need to do that.
Yeah, not emotionally. If
Not at
if the
all.
situation is a crisis, right, and I don't mean an emotional crisis or relational crisis, I
No.
mean like a car crash,
Correct.
a fire,
Tragedy.
yeah, tragedy. Then yes,
Then
rescue.
there's a need for rescue.
That's what the word is for.
Yes.
But oh my God, we got to
Rescues from trauma.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Even emotional. If it's emotional trauma, you still need rescuing at the time.
well, and here's an interesting way to put it: is like, because this is tricky. This is a tricky point based on what we're talking about. Is like, I would say 100% absolutely when that's happening to a child, and the adult needs the information to rescue themselves,
Correct.
but they got to get it from somebody, right? And that's where we come in.
Yes. Yes.
and
Agreed.
it's-
Only the child needs rescuing in an emotional.
You got to get them
panic.
out.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to
Yes,
get
yes,
them
yes.
out. And then the adult has to get out too. This is why we have things like seeking safety. The adult has to get out too, but if they don't pull themselves out, they go right back. That's the observable truth, is they just go right back. So the real rescuing happens in the education, right? And then the resources. Without it, we know that people won't get themselves out. Without the resources, if people don't feel like they have resources, they will not leave. So that's the real rescuing that occurs, that doesn't require us to go in and do it for them. Because what you had highlighted, I really agree with, which is, turns out it actually is really harmful when you do it
is.
for them.
Yeah.
And I tell people when I do the opener, you know, do the opening at the class, that's the way I set it up. It's like, you haven't been in my shoes. You may have had what you believe is a similar experience, but you haven't been in my shoes. You don't know where I've come from, just like I don't know yours. So please don't approach me as though you think you know, because
Don't fix
I
me.
promise you don't know. So we don't walk around our classroom and say, hey, you need to, or this Bible verse, blah, blah, blah. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Meet the person where they are. Find out what they need.
Yeah.
Find out what they need. And then just sit with them. A lot of times they just need you to sit with them so they can figure it out.
Right.
But they're scared to do it by themselves. So all you got to do is just sit next to somebody.
Yeah.
All they have to do is know that you're there and you care.
Right. It's like a kid doing homework.
Yes.
They know how to do it.
They
They were
do.
the one in the class. They
That's
got
right.
taught how to do
That's
it.
right.
I haven't
But
done it in
we,
20 years.
as codependent adult people, we get to feel real good,
Yeah.
right? If we run in and
Rescue.
save the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that to me.
Yeah, I
I'll
saw-
punch you in your. I'll
Will,
I'll
yeah,
punch
you
you
will.
somewhere. Hello, rewind. Yeah, I don't appreciate that type of approach at all.
Yeah. I saw a meme earlier today. It said the worst part of my day is when my son gets in the car at the end of his day at school and tells me I did his homework wrong.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well,
They
it must
can
have
do
been the
it.
math.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that.
Yes, that's
Yeah. Let a kid do his own
Yeah.
homework. Let him get it wrong.
But it
let
is
them get
amazing
it
in the classroom how many people will come up, how many people will go up to one another and say, on a break and say, oh, that happened to me, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's a hard no. So from the very beginning, I'm kind of pissing people off because it's like, well, but I have so much wisdom and knowledge and experience and stuff. I'm like, and that's wonderful. And there'll be a time and a place for that.
Yeah.
But it's not when you're sitting with those other two people.
Right. Yeah. The time and the place is when it's your turn to share
Exactly.
your experience,
That's right.
strength, and hope. Right.
And it's
That's
only
the
through
time.
that sharing.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the healing.
Yeah. And the structure of that, right, is you're not sharing it at someone, you're sharing it.
Yes.
Right.
It is for the individual that's sharing it.
Yeah. Right.
The others get a benefit, but it truly is purely motivated by it has to come out of the flesh to no longer be stored.
Right.
It's that sounding board you don't always have.
Bingo. Got to get it out and see it. All right. And this is also our shift in our awareness of the difference between self-centeredness and selfishness. It is selfish for me to share my experience, strength, and hope out and be able to see it and have a witness to
Yes.
it. It's self-centered when I share it at you because I'm not wanting to look at it any more than you want to look at it.
Right.
But here, now you have to sit with it. What will you do with that? So I'm not going to fucking do anything with that. I don't want to touch it.
No.
Yeah. The way you shared it was repulsive.
Yes.
You know?
A little bit arrogant.
Yeah.
A little bit arrogant there.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Right. Yeah. it's all, it's the expectation behind it too of like, well, here's my story.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, what do you want me to do with that? Well, I was expecting we'd have this like wonderful connection.
I guess enough about me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one-uppers. Do you like the one-uppers?
You know,
This is my tragic story, but you're going to have a bigger one.
Oh, that was me.
Are those your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't specifically talking about you, Jerry. Sorry, no,
well, this is a normal human,
It is.
experience until true wisdom sets
Yes.
in, right? Because, the unhumble say, I have all the wisdom to share, right? It's like the person who's humble isn't sharing it unless you
You don't need
ask.
to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
I'm just
learn
walking with it.
that. Yeah.
I'm just walking with
Yeah,
it.
you could either observe it or you can ask me directly, and if I think that the feedback would be helpful, sure, maybe I'll share a tidbit or two. But I'm not going to sit here and dump it all out for you as if this is a fix-all or cure-all for your life.
Right.
Oh, you just hit play.
Yeah,
Can I say something about another little thing that we're doing?
yes,
Belief
yeah.
Center?
Let's use this moment here as
I
we're
want to
kind of
talk
winding.
about the Stronger Together
Okay.
small group. It's once a month. We have them over the next 3 months being held at the Blackwell House Museum in Canton, Texas. And it is for grieving mothers who have buried their children. We don't define what that is. If you know of someone or you yourself are a grieving mom, we want you to come and join the small group. It is a collective of hearts that unless you have worn those particular shoes, you don't comprehend what that's like. We've all lost people that we love very much. My parents married 56 years. Talk about losing half of yourself when my dad passed away first. But for a woman who loses a child and has to bury that child, there is cells that are shared that never leave that mother's body until she's gone. And even though the child is gone, she still has that collective of cells from her children that she birthed. And there is something very unique about that. Building and growing a human being and then burying it. That changes that woman. And I got to tell you, the vision that got me over the edge of saying, okay, we have to start this group now. I felt the Father showing me his position as Christ on the cross and looking down into the eyes of his mother, Mary. He said, go for my mothers. Go for all of the mothers. Of course. Yes, of course. That was outstanding to receive, but it was also disturbing to get that view, that perception. We had one scheduled the next week, and now we've had two.
And I would say something as specialized as that, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, even could be worth the drive, make a day
Absolutely.
of it, to get that kind of support and to be around people with shared experiences.
And our desire is to start, because these groups, we're starting them and leaving them with whoever becomes leadership. And then they morph it into whatever it is they need it to be.
Yeah.
So we're just here planting these different groups across East Texas right now,
Yeah.
because we're in Kemp and we're in Canton, and we would love to bring them to the Metroplex. But it is and then the first group that we had, they already said we've got to have a small group like this for the dads, for the siblings, for the grandparents. But they each need their own individual small group. That's what they determined. We can't have them in here with us, but they need their own. So it's through this mom's group that now they're going to be birthing other groups within their communities to help the fathers, to help the grandparents, to help the siblings. Because you have to take the entire collective of people that are attached to that loss.
Everybody needs to heal in any system.
Yes.
Or nothing heals.
Yes. Yes. So we love the moms. We love the moms. The moms are so unique, and we would just love to hear other places that have an interest and have a desire, and would actually want to take on something like that. Because, again, this is not an easy topic for anybody to talk about. And a lot of times for these grieving moms, if it's been a certain amount of time with any other loss, well, now we move on. If moms don't move on when they bury their children,
I don't imagine how you could.
their life stops that day. But you still have an entire world going.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? You put on this face and you just keep stepping, and nobody sees you dying inside your skin. And we're here to say, we see you. We're here for you. It breaks my heart. But I want this. I want this for humanity.
We'll see if we can support you.
Thank you.
Stronger together.
Stronger together.
Yeah. Canton.
Yes.
If you're interested, right, you'll find on our website, breakingthecycletherapy.com, under resources, the Belief Center is listed right there. It's thebeliefcenter.org.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll find information on their organization there. Veda and Jerry are building teams. They're going out and doing these groups. You'll see more information as the weeks go by. Even when we have other guests on, we're going to be talking about some of the information that we're building with our merger that will start, I would imagine, probably at some point next week.
Oh, I plan to have something on your desk on Tuesday.
Yeah, and we'll take it and run with it. Community events coming to Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yes, we're very excited.
Yeah.
We came from the Metroplex. We're coming back to the Metroplex.
Yeah.
Yes, very exciting.
Veda, Jerry, thank you again for joining us. It was a blast.
It's always
Thank you,
fun,
Alan.
Doc. It's
Yeah.
always fun.
Absolutely.
And I love calling you Dr. Hyde.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We appreciate y'all joining us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we break the cycle here every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will see you next week with another guest. We love you. Take care.